Welcome to the BVTV Network, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity of meeting Tricia from Discover.Live. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the other part of the leadership team when we're going to meet for our BVTV Quartet, Jason Wei. Hello, Jason.
Hello, Malcolm. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Now, listen, when we met Tricia, she was in Venice. You know, now you're in, is that Machu Picchu behind you?
That is Machu Picchu, yes.
Machu Picchu, that's how it's pronounced. Yeah. Well, that I have to admit, that's a place I haven't been to. But do they still restrict the amount of visitors to it?
Yes. Every day they have a certain number of tourists that they can go through that, and also they can only go one way in and one way out.
Right.
I think it's good, for them to protect that environment.
Okay, so obviously Discover.Live can take you there and take you to places that you can't get to. Jason, can I ask you to take just the one destination from the many you've produced and tell us what the viewer will learn from watching, pointing out for us the key differences that Discover.Live offers?
There are many YouTube videos of travel, and there are even travel channels on the TV. The biggest difference between watching a video and Discover.Live is it's like you go to a movie theater, you're actually watching a movie and versus immerse yourself inside that movie. So that's the biggest difference, because everything's live. You get to talk to the locals, you get to direct our guide to show you the left, to show you the right, and then get closer to something that you would never be able to get that from a normal TV.
Yeah. So take us one destination that you were particularly proud of that you produce.
I would say Machu Picchu probably is one of our most favorite destinations. And it's also one of the destinations that we're most proud of, just because of it takes pretty much like 5 hours for our tour guide to get up there and 5 hours to come down in order for us to bring this breathtaking view to all of our audiences.
Yeah,
so that they don't have to.
So, somebody that's a bit like me, getting a bit older, struggling up the hills, it's an ideal way of actually going to see places, but seeing it in a different light, isn't it?
Absolutely. A lot of people, they have this long bucket list, and we're actually a company that is deep bucket listing. The bucket list, right? Because a lot of times people want to go to many different places just to explore the world. It's just always fascinating, always interesting. Not everybody have the luxury to do that, and that's where we come in.
Yeah. So, what do you think's been the most challenging destination you've taken somebody to, and why?
The most challenging. So we have done many different types of tours, from the simplest form to the most complicated form. So for example, if somebody wanted to do an ancestry type of tours, and so we have to do a lot of research for that family. We have to do a lot of research in terms of, what are their relatives, and where are the places their ancestors used to live, used to go to school, which church, which cemetery. So in those cases, we just have to do a lot of research before we can actually have a tour together.
Actually, genealogy tourism is massive here in the UK. In Scotland, it's worth £1.9 billion a year. And just in the city of Leicester alone, it's worth 40 million. And it's fascinating because as soon as they find the cottage that Uncle Sam lived in, or the grandma, they want to come back again and find more and more and more, isn't it? Yes. And that's the beauty. I know I've presented lots of events on genealogy tourism, and that's the beauty of what you're doing, because your guide can, as you say, do the research, which is not easy, by the way, at times, is it? But also a lot of places are not as accessible, and I just love the way that can be brought to life. So any part of the world you can do that in, is it?
Most part of the world, where we have the tour guides close by, or our tour guides can reach out to. I wouldn't say those tours are challenging, because those tours are always interesting to us.
Yes.
It's just it takes a little bit more time to put the tour together. And when we actually able to show the place to the entire family, normally like 80, 90 people, instead of just some of the lucky few, they were able to personally, travel there. That's a big thing for us. We actually really enjoy that especially in those moments.
It's a few weeks ago since I met Tricia, because we've had storms and that in between. But when we were talking about it, I was telling her that only 30, 40 miles away from where I'm sitting is Hadrian's Wall, the famous Hadrian's Wall, which is celebrating 1900 years this year, 1900 years of it. Now, it's not an easy place to walk, but it's a fascinating history. So, and particularly at this time of year when it's cold and not very nice weather, but your guides could still take somebody there to discover, couldn't they?
That is correct. All of our tour guides, they're passionate about the tour guiding. They're certified tour guides, and they're actually the professional tour guides. So, unless like the places that it is, causing safety concerns or health concerns to our tour guides, most of the places that we're able to put the tour together.
Yeah. And I think as well, from everything I've learned about Discover.Live, which I love, is fantastic. Having been 50 years in travel business, I just, it really is fantastic. I used to hate going to places and wandering around with those earphones on, listening to some disjointed voice that really was almost boring to listen to. But your guides live there, don't they, and bring it to life?
Yeah, the most important thing is obviously, because our tours not only using the latest video streaming technology, but also the most advanced virtual tour guiding techniques. The most important thing from our virtual tour guide standpoint is how do we train them to engage with the people? Once the engagement is there, that's when all the joy started coming. So from all the tour standpoint, we usually provide pre-tour materials for our audience to actually have some of the advanced learning. And we also encourage them to prepare for questions, just like if they buy those expensive, air tickets and actually go somewhere. And then once they're actually in the tour, then the engagement part started coming in right away. And so because of that, our tours and our tour guides and our audiences are, don't really feel that boredness, type of thing for, our type of tours.
Yeah, I just love to Discover.Live, but we're helping people travel. It broadens the mind, as we all know, but you can also do it without destroying the earth as well, because you're not flying anywhere. Thanks, Jason. Now let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers you can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's dot Discover.Live. Well, that's an easy one, isn't it? Discover.Live. Now, I see so much value for the traveler in what Discover.Live is offering that I'm unusually squeezing an extra video out of our founders to make it the first ever BVTV Quartet. That's 4 videos. In episode 4, I want to find out if there's value for companies to use the services of Discover.Live and the how and the why. So are you up for that, Jason?
Absolutely.